I'm Jean-Luc.
I'm Nick.
And we're the WW Gays. And we're cooking!
The kitchen again.
We are making
Pesto.
0 point pesto on
blue and purple. So it's a 0 point pesto sauce for blue and purple because of the
chickpeas.
So
on green, it's 12 points approximately because 2 cups of chickpeas is 6 points each. So we're just being safe by saying it is 12 points. There's a little bit more.
Each cup is 6 points.
Each cup is 6 points.
Exactly.
So you can make it with 2 cups of chickpeas. We're using the full can.
So I'm gonna go shell these right now. So the first step you have to do is drain the can and shell them. So I'm gonna
rinse them and shell them.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go do that right now.
And it's kind of funny because pesto is really, everybody, when you hear pesto, you think complicated sauce to make. Oh, I thought it was a complicated sauce, but all you need is chickpeas. For us, we're using chickpeas because normally it might not be chickpeas. I think there's other ingredients that they use. We thought chickpeas was a great binder because it's thick and it adds some creaminess. And then basil. And what's really cool is look at the basil we're using, everybody. We are using the Gold Farm basil. You actually just saw a video with Jacob and us. So we're using their product here, which is Gold Farm basil, which is baby basil. It's so tiny. But what we're gonna do with this basil is I'm gonna take it, and I'm actually, because it's so small, even the stems are really, really tiny, and I'm not really worried about that because I'm pureeing everything. It's already been washed and clean. It's already ready to go.
I'm just shelling stuff.
And I honestly think, I don't think I would need to shred it. If you're using bigger basil leaves, you can use these awesome scissors. These work really great on any of your spices, on any of your fresh herbs, I should say. So I'm just gonna cut this up in here, and we're gonna do approximately a cup of that. We're also gonna be adding some yogurt to this recipe, and in this recipe, we're using a 1/3 cup of yogurt and 3/4 cups of water. It's a very simple recipe. There's not many ingredients in this recipe at all.
I'm just here coming back to show you guys quickly how easy to shell. So you grab your chickpea and you just kind of push on it, and you see this little thin layer come off. So the reason we take that off is because when you're making this sauce, having this extra skin, and we have a cat trying to join us, the skin, it actually makes it taste weird. So by removing the actual outer layer, it makes it taste a lot better. It makes it creamier as well.
It's not even just a weird taste. It adds this like unnecessary crunch to your.
I will grab the cat because
he's not listening.
Come here, sweetie. I know.
Oh, he's not happy. He smells the basil, and it smells so yummy. I'll be honest with you. Basil smells delicious just as is, but when you're actually cutting into it, the aroma of the fresh herbs are crazy, absolutely crazy. So I'm finishing this off here. I don't have exactly a cup, but basil is quite strong. There is almost a full cup in here. And again, it's only going to, the more basil you add, the stronger of a pesto sauce you will have. So I'm just putting this in here and cleaning it up, which is really nice. This little tool that actually protects your scissors also makes sure that you're able to clean up all of the fresh herbs inside the scissors so you don't lose anything.
What temperature do you have the oven on right
now? I
have
the temperature, the oven actually is already set for 400 degrees.
And why are we doing that?
And we're doing that because we're baking our chickpeas. We want our chickpeas to be baked because it adds that smokiness that we absolutely enjoy in the chickpeas. But what we're also gonna do to our chickpeas is we're not only gonna just bake them plain. You know us, you know me, you know Nick. We love our clubhouse spices. So we're gonna be adding these 3 clubhouse spices to our chickpeas when they're being roasted. The Italiano, the roasted red pepper, and the garlic plus. You can add any spice you like. Don't feel like you need to add the exact spices we do. Add whatever flavors you know you and your family are going to enjoy, because that's the important part. Make these recipes your own. We like giving you the idea, giving you the inspiration, and then going from there. I know a lot of you started using a lot of the same spices as us, which is so cool. But feel free to use whatever.
Because they're so good.
Well, you know what? I thank my mom for introducing me to these clubhouse spices. She's been using them for years, So now, this is pretty simple. We're gonna finish shelling the chickpeas. We've got our yogurt ready. Like I said, this is gonna be 1/3 of a cup. I'm also going to be adding 2 tablespoons of garlic into the mixture, so that way it has some garlic flavor in there as well. So I'm gonna go help Nick shell some of these chickpeas, and we'll be back in just a few minutes to pop them in the oven. If anybody knows an easier way of doing this, please help.
It might be a little less than 12 points. We keep dropping them in the sink.
These are also really a good snack if you just bake them in the oven and eat them, but they are pointed because you can eat too many. Can there be any more peas? We're finally done.
That took a while.
It takes a long time. It takes a long time. I will tell you this is the longest part of the entire process. So now that we've got the chickpeas all ready to go, there's no more shells in them. There might be a few. You're gonna always end up missing a little bit.
You can't get rid of all of them.
You can't.
You got rid of most of them, and,
Yeah.
it makes it a little more yellow color.
Yeah, they're less brown. So now I'm just gonna add some spices to this. I'm gonna add some garlic plus, because we love it, right? And I'm not measuring this. I add a little bit of a sprinkle here, just a bit of all the spices, just to get some flavor in
Used
there.
to this by now.
You all know that. A tad of this, a sprinkle of that, a
A
dabble.
soupçon.
That's his word. I've never used
soupçon.
soupçon. Soupçon. And then some Italiano.
I'll spread it out.
And we're just gonna spread it out on our, you can spread it out on any baking sheet. We love using our stoneware. That's one of the things we love. It makes things a little bit crispier. And voila. So now we're gonna put them in the oven. It's at 400 degrees and we're putting it in for
20 minutes.
20 minutes. So
It's been 20 minutes.
Woo-hoo!
Alright, so I'll
It
grab-
smells so good in here. Like, it's insane what chickpeas, roasted chickpeas in the oven did, how it smells. So they end up getting, some of them are a little darker than others. It happens, it depends on your oven and your stove, I should say. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna let that cool for a few minutes. And first things first, what I wanna prepare is, no, I don't need that. What am I talking about? I'm trying to get the blender ready. I'm thinking too many things all at once here. So I'm gonna get what I want in the blender ready. I'm gonna go ahead and first off, put in my 1/3 of a cup of Greek yogurt.
I'll do that.
So I'll get Nick to do that. And I'm gonna grab a 1/4 cup of water.
1/3 of a cup.
1/3 of a cup of there, yes, there. So, yogurt. And so these two ingredients, I'm gonna be honest with you, it depends on the thickness of the pesto you want. That really makes a huge difference. So I'm adding the 1/4 cup of water.
And I'm adding the yogurt.
Yeah. And I think we forgot the garlic in the fridge. And he's adding the yogurt. You want the spatula?
Oh, I gotta move the other.
Okay. Yep. And the garlic that we use is we use all sorts of different types of garlic, but this is one of our favorites, the Gourmet Garden. This is chunky garlic, and then I actually use 2 tablespoons of it. I fill up 2 tablespoons, 1 and 2. I might put a little more because we like our stuff garlicky.
Yeah, definitely.
You want to put the lid on that for me? I'm gonna grab I am gonna grab a spatula. I want all the garlic in there. I'm sorry, but
The yogurt's okay, but the
the
garlic
has got to be in there. And so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take that basil that I pre-cut, and I'm also gonna add it to this.
So while we're using the blender, we will stop the volume so you guys don't hear the
Yes.
loud noise. And then we'll re-unmute whenever, I keep trying to move my head and
I
he's
didn't
moving
see
the
you.
arm.
I'm just trying to make sure I get all the basil.
And so we'll keep talking whenever we're not blending, because otherwise it's gonna be too loud for you guys. We get it, you've seen our videos before.
So now what I'm gonna do is I'm taking these warm,
I'll do that.
amazing, just move them out. We're taking, no, I was gonna do this. We're gonna lower this from the blender, just put them in one corner. And I'm stopping that. And then we're adding our chickpeas, slowly, to this mixture, without trying to spill any on the floor.
I can't get the corner.
Yeah, that's fine. There we go. We're adding that there. Careful, I don't want to you.
There.
Adding that there.
I'll grab one from the floor and throw them out.
Yeah, we'll get rid of those ones. And so I will now be silencing the
Yes.
volume because this is going to be loud. So another good idea is because you're blending all this and you want to make sure that everything's getting mixed. So you can take a spatula and start mixing it around so that way everything gets blended. If you have a food processor, I would recommend you using a food processor because that blends even more so than this. So as you can see, these chickpeas are roasted a little bit more than I normally roast them. I'll be honest with you, it's hard to gauge. So you have to keep an eye on your chickpeas. I'm gonna add a little bit more water to this because this is, they're a little bit more roasted than normal, which is fine. I think it's actually gonna make a really nice taste. So I'm gonna grab my quarter cup measuring spoon as well. And I'm gonna gradually add water. I'm not gonna add too much because if you add too much, then you can't take water out.
It's actually getting, it takes time because you gotta keep moving it in the blender. So you gotta keep mixing and moving it around and mixing it again, adding a bit more water. The thing is, guys, normally when you make this recipe, you use oil.
Yes.
And you use oil and pine nuts and basil. And what we're trying to do here is we're trying to give you the same kind of flavor and the same kind of texture sauce using these ingredients. So with that, you have to play a little bit with the mixture, the water to chickpea ratio, because each, like Jean-Luc said, it depends how long your chickpea cooked.
And these cooked very quick today because the last time we made it, they didn't cook so quickly. So I want it to be a little bit creamier. And by adding the water, you're not adding any extra points, which is nice. That's why I'm not adding any milk or any cream or any coconut milk or almond milk or anything like that. And guess what, guys? We now have
pesto.
Pesto.
So one of our tricks that we do, because pesto, as most people know, pesto is a sauce that's very rich. So you don't want to put too much when you're making your noodles with it. So what we do is we use some, if we want to use some today, but today we're going to put it into an ice cube tray.
Yes.
And we're going to freeze it. And what happens is when you freeze it, it creates perfect cubes of pesto that you can then put in a Ziploc bag. And so when you're making your pasta or your quinoa or anything you want to add pesto to,
add a little ice cube of pesto to it to add this flavor, and it's 0 points. Yeah. We add some to our pasta. Again, we don't drench our pasta in it. A pesto is meant to be just a little layer of sauce on top of like your chicken and all the other vegetables that you add to your pasta.
Okay, so let's do this. So I'll do this.
Yeah.
Where's the spatula?
The mini spatula is right there.
So, voila.
You could either grab a piping bag as well, and if you wanted to put it in a piping bag and then put it in each individual container, and there you go. That's exactly what you do, and then you put it in the freezer, let it freeze overnight.
Yep.
And then you have pesto ice cubes.
So we're actually going to have some for dinner tonight. So we're actually going to stop here. We're going to create some noodles. You guys are actually going to be watching us live making these actual noodles.
Exactly.
And then we'll come back and actually.
And then you'll see the end of our actual dinner of the night.
Yeah.
See you in a bit.
And we're back.
Woohoo! Our pesto is done.
So we actually made pasta, fresh pasta, on our group right now. So some of you guys are watching this right now over here. And so this is our homemade pasta. We used the pesto sauce on it. And then added some...
We added some chicken, edamame, and some spinach. And then a little Parmesan cheese.
And now we're ready to eat.
And now we're ready to eat. And I'm dying to try this. I've been waiting for this.
What's fun about making your own pasta? It's like heartier. It's so much like...
It has a flavor that you can't really explain.
Yeah, it's so different than store-bought. It's delicious.
I think it's because it's not dry.
Yeah. So if you guys try this recipe, please comment below. Hit the like button if you like it. Share it with your friends. And
check us out on all social media using hashtag WWGays.
And you can find us on our website, www.gays.com.
Bye, everybody. Oh my God, this is so good.
You're still watching there.
Stop watching me eat dinner. Some people are just so nosy.
I know.
Fun people.
Have a good night.
Bye, everybody. You guys will love this. It is so good.